Welcome back, painting friends. Today we are going to paint an owl that you can choose to make your own Harry Potter house. So let's see what kind of colors you need. You're going to need white, blue, yellow, red, brown, black, and green. I always have my favorite 4 brushes with me. I've got my 1-inch flat brush, my 10-6, and 1 round brush. Don't forget to have a cup of water and a rag for keeping those brushes clean. And remember, if you're liking what you're seeing here today, hit that like and subscribe button so that you are kept up to date on all of my videos. So first things first, I'm going to line out where I'm going to put my moon. Now, sometimes when I put my moon on things, I copy circles or trace circles. So if you are not confident in your circle drawing, grab yourself a circle shape and trace it. But right up here in this corner, I'm just going to make a nice big moon circle for my sky. And the reason I'm putting that in first is that, blue's a really hard color to cover up. So I figure if I put my moon on here first, then I would just have a little bit less work to do later in covering up that blue of my sky. So I've got my number 10 round brush, and I am just taking a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white paint and kind of letting those colors play and mix together on here. Our second layer for our moon, we will add some more detail into the colors. But to start off, we're just going to throw some color on there, let it kind of sit and stay there. Perfect. The next thing we do is I'm just going to wipe that brush off and I'm just going to outline my moon. I'm going to take some blue paint on my number 10 round brush, just make a nice little outline around that moon. That way when I go in with my bigger brush, I have less of a chance of mixing it into my moon color. I'm now going to take that number 10 round brush and I am going to, number 10 round brush, I'm going to take that 1-inch flat brush and I'm going to paint everything else blue with just a little bit of white mixed in. So I want to have some lines of white in there. I don't need the whole thing to be a dark blue color. So have some fun using left to right horizontal lines, filling that space in, but allowing some white to kind of show through on your brush. With our background finished, I'm just going to take that number 10 round brush, some white paint on it. I'm going to make some circle-ish lines that kind of go around that moon. So have it look like the moon has some moonbeams going on. All right, we are going to let this dry. When we come back, we will add in our next layer. With the dry background, now I'm going to add in my tree branch and my owl. So I've got my number 6 round brush. I'm going to take brown and white paint on my brush at the same time. So brown and white. And I'm going to make more of a realistic branch, but if you want to have some swirls to yours, or you can even make your owl sitting on a broom if you're doing the Harry Potter theme. So make your choices, right? So with my number 6 round brush, I'm going to just start right over here. And I like to start by making most of my trees in like a Y shape. So see, this is the top of the Y, and then this would be the base of the Y, okay? I just think that gives us a good starting point for trees. Now from there, you can add as many little branches in here as you want, knowing that your owl is going to be kind of taking up this space right here. All of these little branches, we can add some leaves to in a minute. And you can make them fall leaves or spring leaves or flowers or, whatever you want. Have fun with it. And then when I finish off my trees, I always like to start at the very tip of each branch and kind of pull each line all the way back into the base of the tree. So start from the very tip and kind of pull each one in. And by doing that, what it does is it takes your branches from not really being connected to having a line that starts at your edge and goes all the way down so that visually they are all connected. And then I do like to make sure that the base of my tree is a little bit wider because it is connecting to a tree, right? Got to make sure there's some space for that big old owl to sit on. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe my brush off and I'm going to take a little bit of black paint and I'm just going to drop a couple spots of black paint down towards the bottom of each of these areas. And that little bit of black paint is going to help give us just a little bit of definition. So now I'm going to go through some of these and I don't have to go all the way through every line, but I can take my brush with some of that black on it, just kind of blend those colors a little bit so that it looks almost like texture on your tree. All right, I like where that tree's going. Now let's talk about our owl. You can choose to pick an owl from the movies that you like. I am going to do a white and brown owl. So I've got my number 6 round brush and some white paint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by making a teardrop shape right here. And on that teardrop shape, I'm going to make a letter W at the top. And from there, I'm going to make a smiley face right here. So what I have now is I've got the ears to my owl. I've got my owl's face. And I think I might make my teardrop body just a little bit bigger. Now, when I go ahead and paint this in, I am going to cover the entire thing with white paint to start, and then we'll start adding some of those dark brown details. With this color still on here, I can go ahead and take some brown paint, and right here I'm going to draw a curved line, and then I'm just going to start to pull some of these lines down, and I'm wanting to keep this with this texture so that I have it look a little bit more like feathers. So all I'm doing is with the number 6 round brush, I'm just kind of pulling up small little, maybe 1-inch lines going from the bottom up to have this look like the wings on the back of the owl. I love that. Now I can take some brown paint and I can go along the chest of my owl. And I'm going to have that dark brown be right there. And I'm just going to kind of brush this color on in. Maybe if I've got too much brown on there, which I feel like I do, I could grab some white. And the goal is to have just a really nice transition from that dark brown to a lighter brown to a white just before it hits those feathers on the back. I'm going to go with that same brown color. I've wiped off my brush, but I didn't wash it off. Same brown color. And right here along the top, I'm going to take this curved line and I'm going to give it a small bump at the top and back up to the corner. I'm going to have the bottom of it kind of come down to a point right in the middle of where his eyes are going to be. Now I'm going to add a little bit of black up here just along that bottom edge, just to give it a little bit more of a dramatic effect. And then I'm going to take that black paint and I'm just going to start to make small little lines from that bottom up. And once I get past this bottom area, I'm going to switch to brown paint. And I'll finish it out with that brown paint on top. All right, wash that brush off, dry it off. Let's go ahead and add in our leaves. Now again, you do not have to make this a tree. You do whatever you want with it, but I'm going to take some yellow and green paint on my brush, and I could just add in a couple leaves anywhere I want, really. I like to add the yellow in. I just think it gives the tree leaf a nice color, and then a small amount of white to kind of top it off. So a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow. You can add as many or as few leaves as you want, and then you finish off with just that little bit of white to give it a really nice highlight. I could take my finger and with a little bit of white paint, I can make some stars in my sky. Sometimes I like to make my stars big, sometimes small. I want these stars to be kind of big. And this time I'm actually grouping them. Sometimes I group them together in small sets. Other times I kind of spread them out everywhere. But I think tonight's going to be a night where I'm just going to group them. I do like to group them in odd numbers. All right, we are going to let this dry. When we come back, we're going to add in all of those final touches, his eyes, his scarf, the nose, all those little bitty details. With a dry background, let's go ahead and add in some of these final details. So first things first, I am going to take my finger with some yellow paint on it, and I'm going to make two really nice big owl eyes. Now, if you are going to make your owl a Hogwarts owl, you have to decide what house you're in. Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff. If it's Gryffindor, it's going to be red and yellow. Slytherin, green and silver, might be white. Ravenclaw, blue and brown, and Hufflepuff is black and gold. I did take the Harry Potter test, and I am a Gryffindor. So I'm going to start with yellow paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little scarf on my owl. I'm just going to put a rectangle right here. Go ahead and fill that whole rectangle in with yellow. Now, if your yellow is a little see-through, you can always add some white to it, and that just kind of helps make it a little bit less see-through, adding that white color in there. And then right here at this side, I'm going to take that color. I'm going to put a little bump on the top. And I'm going to put a little string down for where my scarf kind of wraps around itself. Go ahead and wipe that brush off. We're going to let this dry a little bit, but let's go ahead and look at the rest of our owl while that's drying. So right in between his little eyes, I'm going to make a triangle nose in black. It is just a triangle that goes down. I can add a small little white highlight to the top of it. On his head, I'm going to take a little bit of black paint, and I'm just going to make a couple of little curved lines right here at the corner. So I'm just starting right here at the ear, making a couple of little lines. I'm going to do a couple right here in the center also. These are just a little more defined because the color is not getting mixed in. I'm going to take some brown paint and just re-outline the front of his belly. I'm going to take that brown and I'm going to outline his face as well. And with the brown on his face, I am going to take a little bit of white, just kind of go right on the edge of that, so that there's a little bit of brown on the edge, and then it just gently switches into white. So I got my number 6 round brush. I'm just taking a little bit of white paint right on the edge with that brown, and letting it just kind of gently turn back into white. I'm going to take a little bit of black paint on my brush, and on these little wings over here, I'm just taking my brush and barely touching it to my canvas. But I want just a little bit of definition on some of these feathers. Don't have to make a whole lot of them, just a couple of them. I'm going to take my finger with some black paint, and I'm going to add right here in the center nice big black eyes. I'm going to take just a little bit of red paint, just a little bit, maybe make some small little outlines right on the edge of that yellow eye. And then I'm going to take that red paint and add in my stripes. This guy's looking pretty cute. I'm going to take just a little bit of black paint on my number 6 round brush, and just right over his eyes, I'm going to give him some little, I don't know if they're eyelashes or eyebrows, just right above his head. And then if you want to get crazy, totally up to you, you can take a little bit of watered down black paint on your number 6 round brush, and you can add in that iconic Harry Potter scar, right? So right here, I can just go ahead and add in this little scar. All right, let's finish off this moon. I'm going to take that number 6 round brush, just a little bit of yellow paint. I'm going to add some spots of yellow just to kind of highlight that the moon has some texture to it. And then up towards the top of the moon, I'm going to wipe that brush off and do the same thing with just white paint. So bottom of the moon, some yellow, top of the moon, some white. And there you have it. We have ourselves a cute, sweet little Hogwarts owl. Remember, when you're finished painting, you got to grab a color. It's going to show up on your canvas and sign your name. Remember that I never get to see what you're painting at home unless you post it to my Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you're kept up to date on all of my tutorials. And remember, as always, stay kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Bye now.